think often people don't know how to show up for people. For sure. So for instance, if somebody loses a parent or even a child, right? It's so painful, right? Even the idea of it for somebody who's not experiencing it. And then to see somebody that they care about experience it, it's almost too overwhelming.
Yeah. And I'd say for me, it's interesting when I think about, I mean, obviously in the life that we live, we have the opportunity, and I do call it an opportunity, to show up for people, especially when they're going through difficult times, disease, death of a family member. But I would say that naturally for me, my natural instinct always was, if somebody's going through a really bad time, take a step back to give them their space to go through it. And you realize, and I certainly realize this now, that that's almost never the right thing to do.
Yeah. It's interesting because I was thinking about this. I think that we're fortunate to be in the positions we are because I think we give a lot of thought to how we want to show up for people and make choices to do so for them. But I remember after we had Josh, our second son, and I found out that he had Down syndrome 4 hours after his birth. And so my closest circle, right, my closest friends, my best friend, my sisters, they didn't know how to help me because it scared them.
Right.
Right.
And to be clear, right, the word help, right, because that's what they thought. They thought they needed to help you probably. Right.
And I didn't need help. I didn't even know. I just was in pain at that time. I really could have just used somebody to just stand by my side. And I'm going to give some of those tools. But I remember, and it dawned on me because a month after I had Josh, and so I started to isolate myself because whenever I was around people that were my closest friends, family circle, I felt different and I felt awkward because it was uncomfortable and it made it a big deal. And I just didn't want it to be. I wanted life to be normal, and I had to figure out a way to embrace this thing I didn't expect. So I made a new friend at that time. Somebody who many people, she's a celebrity. And honestly, I could care less if she had a horn growing out of her head. Like I was so in my own world that nothing seemed bigger than what I was going through, in a good way, in a healthy way, right? But anyway, we became really close for different reasons, but she was the only person that made it normal. It just wasn't a big deal. It was the first person I had spoken to in a month or 2 months after I had had Josh that was like, yeah. I was like, it happened. It wasn't on my list of things that I thought would happen in this life. And it's great. I'm happy. I'm his mom and I'm going to figure this out. And she's like, yeah, it was not a big deal. And I found that so comforting.